learning for me. You've heard my story, and I'm not going to go into it tonight because a lot of you already have a gist of what it looks like. Leaving home at age 16, there was no clue as to what was going to become of me. Even in myself, I had no clue. I was just moving until I got to an end. That's why I told myself, just keep going. When you get to an end or to a final destination, that's it. No matter what happened along the way. And I always remember that I had to live for every day. That's why I tell people, I live for the day. I really don't worry a lot about what's going to happen in the next 10 years. I worry about what's happening today, because what happens today determines what happens in 10 years. So instead of worrying about 10 years, I believe it's backwards. I worry about today, because when I take care of today, I believe the solutions of today will be available for the problems of tomorrow. And that's how I've lived my life all the years as a refugee. I wake up every morning and decide what should be done today. So by the time I'm done the task of the day, there may be some solutions already available that I can face the problems of tomorrow. And that has kept me true my life from Ivory Coast, 4 years on a camp, to Ghana, another 4 years on that camp in Ghana, and meeting young people from all over. I was on a camp of about 50,000 refugees. And it was tremendous to see what happens when a group of people get together with a common goal and focus on what they want to achieve. No matter what the situation is, they can achieve what they want to. And I saw that at the very lowest level of society. Coming to Canada was a huge shock, but I always tell people a positive one. Now, the shock was of negativity because there were challenges, but it was positive because I finally saw that I was in a place where I could face my fears and look it in the face and tell them what I wanted to say about it. And I finally found a place that I could look at people and tell them what I thought, and they would be like, you know what, it might not make sense, but I can help you whatever way you want. So when I came to Canada, the first thing was on my mind. I was like, what can I do to affect this community? I got here, it took me 3 days to see the problems. I was living downtown Hamilton, so that was a great opportunity. That's where I used to hang out, and that's where I used to see people. So it took me 3 days in Hamilton to realize that there was a problem, and there needed to be a solution. And I was like, I might not have the resources when you talk about what to do about problems, but maybe affecting one person at a time could say something to what's happening in the city. But there's one thing that I realized in this competition, that it wasn't just about the competition. That is my problem. When I'm doing something, I don't look at the immediate result. I always look beyond that. I'm like, you know what? This is the immediate result. It's short term. It's going to happen and it's going to be gone away. But what happens after that? And I realized that in this culture, you need access to people, the right people, to get things done. I was like, all right, you know what, I know the solutions. They don't know the solutions, they're trying to find it. So this is an opportunity to tell them what some of the solutions are. And that's why I became a part of this competition. And the biggest thing young people will tell you is, where do we get all the money from? Where do we get this from? And I tell people, my philosophy is resources versus resourcefulness. I don't worry about money. Like, I write a $50,000 project without talking to one person yet. I have it on paper, and by the time I talk to 5 people, before we raise the first $1,000, we've accomplished maybe $25,000 worth of service that would have come in money. So, by participating in the competition, we are building a library in Africa right now at a cost of $350,000. I started talking to people, and I was like, it's not about how much money we have, it's about having a heart. I always tell people it's not about how much resources you can afford or how much you can gain. It's about having a heart for something. And whenever you have a heart, trust me, you find a way. Trust me, you find avenues to get things done without worrying about how the money will be raised. I prefer crediting when Canadians are the direct recipients of the benefits of what we spend the money for, than keeping the budget balanced and have Canadians dying, losing their jobs, losing their employment insurances, I mean, even their children in terms of healthcare. So, the problem is immediate and we need to find an immediate solution. But we shouldn't forget that the long-term solution is the best way out of it. Because if we don't address the long-term issue, we'll be back in the next 10 years. And the long-term issue is simple. Let us keep a referee in the system. There is no way the banks will work in you and I's favor if there's no one there to make sure they're doing what they said they should do. doing. There is just no way that big corporations will want to see you and I flourish at a 100% level when we don't have a check and balance in the system. Let's create a check and balance. Let's hold people by their word. When people tell you that we will employ 100,000 people and we'll give them employment insurance, let's have a referee to make sure it is done, and not just on paper. It amazes, it blows my mind. Some of the things these children have been through, some of them have lost hope at the age of 15. Can you imagine? A young person at the age of 15 telling you this, they've lost hope about life. That says a whole lot. If that is not enough to let us know that there is a problem, I don't know what else is. And these are the things we are talking about. I know there are so many candidates, great candidates, running in this competition, and I do appreciate that. But one thing I see is most of them come from a position where they see the solution to the problem as helping people. We cannot solve people's problems. It's simple. We cannot. I don't understand your problem. I can sympathize with you. But when it comes to defining your problem, I cannot. Likewise, you cannot do with mine. You can only sympathize with me and try to be sorry. Now, someone said I lived 8 years as a refugee. No one here can explain that. You can sympathize and try to imagine what it looks like. Only me can tell you what I went through for those 8 years. Only me can tell you what I did to survive for those 8 years until I got to Canada. And this is why I decided that I would run, because I believe my approach is helping people help themselves. Who doesn't want to solve the problem? Give them the opportunity, give them the access, and see what they will do. My 2.5 years living in Hamilton, the amount of young people I've worked with and inspired, I've seen what they've done by the time we left each other. I've seen the multiplier effect across the city. Young people that I just had meetings with, and we talked together about things, and we share ideas, and they went away. 6, 7 months later, I heard of what they've done. And for me, that's the solution. Until we empower people, until we allow people to stand up to the challenges themselves, there is no way. Let's stop giving people handouts. When someone comes to you and says they're hungry, it's immediate. Help them with food. But don't just give them food and expect them to come next week. Let's have a genuine conversation about it. What can we do to make you go to the grocery store the next time you're hungry? And that is where I come from. That's what I want to talk about. Because the more young people we have getting educated, the better our chances are. The more young people we have finding positive role models and being in the right environment, the better our country gets. The more young people we can come out in the community and be like, that young person is a leader, like that young person can solve this problem, the better we are. We wouldn't have to worry about addressing many issues downtown. Because young people will be engaged, they will know how to define themselves and will know what they are out to be doing. And this is why I define as economy. I've had a chance to go through almost all of the videos on the website. Great ideas. Ideas are great. You can stand and say hundreds of them in one spot. But what can you do to achieve those ideas? And that's where I believe the challenge is. It's not about talking, it's about doing. I talk by doing, that's what I do. When I tell someone I will do something, no matter what, I do it. I will do it. Nothing stops me, because I believe if it is in the right direction and it's in the interest of the general group of society, it's going to happen no matter what. You cannot just stop the force of good. There's no way. You can suspend it for a time, but it's going to come to fruition. And this is why I'm running for Canada's next great Prime Minister. Young people, the gap with young people in the older generation is widening, simply because they feel isolated. They felt we left out of the problem, or out of the solutions to the problem. So let's close the gap, and I'm ready to do that. I started doing that, and I'm just ready to continue it. This competition is not a big show for me. What I believe is a stage for the country to listen, and I want to use that stage to the maximum. I wake up every morning, I see the problem. I wake up every morning, I apply the solutions. I don't talk it. So I just want the country to have that opportunity, to have that chance to listen to some of the things we've done that have become a success. I also want other people across Canada to know that all hope is not lost. The time is right. Whenever the problem is at its highest peak, that is when a solution is about to be born. And I want everyone to be a part of that solution that is about to be born. I want everyone to be a part of that solution, because there should be an application in their daily life. Let us step out of our comfort zones. We sat in our comfort zones too long and say, oh, it's not my problem, it's their problem. It's all of us' problem. This is why I'm running for Canada's next great Prime Minister.